My name is Marcel, and I've been working for a while in a delivery app. I usually make deliveries along a specific route and prefer to work during the day, which is also when I rest. This is my daily routine. I earn a good wage for my work, which makes me satisfied with the routine. Until one extraordinary day, I received an order to a distant city, and since I was free, I decided to accept it. I reached the client at her destination, and on my way back, I took a different route passing through several villages at night. While passing through one of the villages, I stopped in front of a family standing on the road, consisting of a father, a wife, and 2 daughters. Normally, I don't stop for strangers. But their appearance made me decide to help them. The woman smiled at me and said, "We're going to the city you were heading to." I agreed, and they got into the back seat of the car. They didn't move or speak, despite my attempts to lighten the mood. After a while, we reached a small village, and the father asked to stop to get something from a friend there. I agreed and waited for him, but half an hour passed, and he didn't return. I tried asking the wife, but she didn't answer. She just stared in a terrifying silence. When I looked up at the car mirror, I saw them all, murdered, their eyes wide open, their faces angry, shouting, "Dad is gone and will come back, he is the one who killed us." Repeating the sentence over and over, I couldn't control myself and ran out of the car, crying uncontrollably from fear. Fortunately, another car passed by, and a man got out to reassure me, saying, "I'll drive your car and follow you, don't be afraid." When I returned to the car, the family had completely disappeared, and I was finally able to reach my city safely. This event will remain engraved in my memory, and I'll never forget it.
One day, when I was 17, I had a friend named Lily. Our friendship was beautiful, and we spent many happy moments together. One day, there was a wedding for her sister, and I was invited to attend the special event. Since the wedding was going to take place in a large, beautifully decorated hall, my brother decided to drive me there. After we arrived at the venue, I felt something strange. The hall looked stunning, but most of the seats were empty, and the atmosphere was unusually quiet. I waved goodbye to my brother at the entrance and slowly walked inside. Inside, there were only a few women wandering around the hall. Suddenly, I felt their intrusive gazes following me, and everyone seemed to be staring at me oddly. I tried to stay calm and greeted the people around, but one woman only smiled at me without saying anything. A strange feeling filled the air, so I decided to ask about my friend, Lily. But the response was shocking. No one could tell me where she was. The music started to get louder, and I saw the women begin to dance in a hysterical manner, as if they were in a trance. Their eyes were unnaturally dark, and the eerie feeling in the room grew stronger with every passing moment. Their dresses ranged between black and dark brown, almost as if they were part of some hidden ritual. Although I was at the party, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. I kept looking for Lily, but she never appeared. Suddenly, the bride entered the hall, and although I thought she was Lily's sister, I approached her with a smile, hoping to ask about Lily. However, her reaction was strange. She looked at me in surprise, then pushed me away. I couldn't take her reaction, so I went back to my seat. At that moment, my phone suddenly rang. It was Lily on the other end. She said in a sad tone, "Why didn't you come to the party? I really wanted you to be here." I was completely confused and ended the call in a daze. That's when the atmosphere suddenly shifted. Everyone started to change, as if they were transforming into terrifying creatures. Their arms became like animal limbs, and their eyes turned completely dark. Suddenly, I couldn't handle the situation any longer. I felt the overwhelming urge to run away. I dashed toward the door, panic-stricken, and as I was about to step outside, I encountered a strange man. He asked me why I was crying, so I told him everything that had happened. He smiled and said, "It seems you don't know yet. This place has been abandoned for years. No one dares to go near it." After the man disappeared, my phone rang again, and it was Lily on the line. I shared my strange experience with her, and she seemed just as confused. She thanked God for my safety. 7 years have passed since that incident, but I can't forget it no matter how hard I try. Every time I remember it, a feeling of fear and anxiety overtakes me, and my heart returns to those dark moments. The story began on a quiet day when my friend and I decided to visit her family's old house, a house that was once filled with memories, but now had become an abandoned and locked-up place. The idea was to stay there for a whole day, reliving the past and exchanging stories. We arrived in the morning, prepared lunch together, and placed it on a large plate. We started talking about the old days and the memories we had there, but suddenly we heard a loud crashing sound from the kitchen. We wondered together, what happened? We quickly went to the kitchen to find the plate that had been on the table had shattered, but the strange thing was that it was far from the spot where it had been. I felt a sense of unease, but my friend tried to calm me down, saying that everything was fine. We prepared a new meal and continued talking, although a mysterious feeling of anxiety began creeping into me. Then the phone rang, interrupting our conversation. It was an urgent call for my friend, and she asked me to stay at the house and not leave until she returned, assuring me that it wouldn't take long. I agreed without thinking and began watching TV until I eventually fell asleep after a long while. I woke up at a late hour, feeling that something was off in the atmosphere. Darkness had overtaken the place, and I realized that it was already past 8 in the evening. Suddenly, I heard the sound of light footsteps coming from the kitchen. I opened my eyes, startled, and looked around. Everything was still, and there was no explanation for those sounds. I left my room and glanced at the front door, but I couldn't see my friend's car or even her shoes. So, who was in the kitchen? I quickly returned to my place and hid under the blanket, a strange feeling filling my chest. The footsteps grew closer and closer, until I felt something strange above me, as though a dog was walking over me. My heart was racing as if I were on the edge of death. I wanted to scream, but fear held me back. The steps stopped right beside me, and I felt like they had completely stopped above my body. Then, suddenly, the sound disappeared completely. All I could hear were the beats of my heart growing louder and louder. Quickly, I got up from my place and ran toward the door. I opened it to find my friend standing in front of me, looking worried. I hit her hard, as though she knew I had just experienced something terrifying. She said in a calm voice, "I'm sorry, I knew this house had something strange in it. But I didn't want you to stay here alone." She continued, "This house, for a long time, was said to be full of evil spirits, but I didn't want you to know that, especially when I got the urgent call and had to leave. I left you here alone in this dark place." That incident was a moment I'll never forget. I learned from it that some places carry secrets that may remain hidden, even in times of calm.